Alright guys, today we've got more Monster Energy Supercross 6. Lately I haven't really been covering the customization because it's been pretty similar over the last few years, but since we have the game a bit early and it isn't out yet, I thought it was worth showing you. And the case, it's the same for this game. Customization, system good, but the stuff you have to choose from if you've played a game in the past is a little bit disappointing. But we'll get to that when we get to the bulk of the video. So let's just jump into it and check out customization. Okay, so the first thing I want to show you is just the bikes you have in the game. Now there is something new here. We've got Gas, Honda, 2-stroke, 4-stroke. But the Husky and the KTM, you will see we have the factory edition, which I know it's a minor thing, but I don't believe that was in Supercross 4 or 5 or any Supercross games before that. So kind of cool. I mean, minimum, but still kind of cool. And then obviously we have the 2-strokes for the Suzuki and the Yamaha and the KTM. So pretty cool that we've got that. They started adding the 2-strokes into the game in Supercross 5. Otherwise, it was like DLC in Supercross 4. And then here I wanted to show you some of the graphics kits. These, I mean, there's a lot to choose from, but typically these graphics kits are a bit disappointing. Some of them are okay, but as far as I could tell, I didn't check out every single kit, but for the most part, they did seem like they were the same as they have been in the last few versions of Supercross. So not much new here, but, you know, at least you can customize. So if you haven't played a Supercross game before, most of this stuff will be pretty cool and pretty new for you. But if you have played a game, then it's kind of a rinse and repeat. Now, here we have some customization for the bike. You have the parts you can change, and on the right side you can see you can color customize basically every part of the bike. So it's really cool. The system is great, but the system has been this way since pretty much MXGP2. It has been improved and more stuff has been added, but the system has been basically the same. And then here I wanted to show you some of the parts you can switch out with the suspension and the exhaust. I mean, there's a lot more, but this was just an example so you can kind of get an idea of what's happening. But yeah, I mean, good system. Most of the parts and all that stuff for the bike are the same, but the bike customization I'm usually pretty happy with. I don't have many complaints about it, but again, very, very similar to how it normally is and how it has been in the last 3 games, right? So here, just showing some rims for the bike. I forgot I had this. A lot of customization, like I said, just kind of going through some of it so you can get an idea. But the part of the game that I think with the customization that is the biggest disappointment, since we're about to jump into it, is probably the rider side. It's similar to the way the bike is. It's a good system, and there's a bunch of stuff to choose from, but it just, I don't know. It you'll see when we get there, but I'm not saying the system needs to be updated. I don't think the system is the problem. I think it's that they just don't change it very much from year to year. And I know people will say, well, it's a yearly release and they have a contract deal and, you know, minimum time because this isn't the only game Milestone puts out. But I think that's where I wish they could restructure the deal they have where they could do every other year and then MXGP on the in-between years or whatever game they want to do. And then maybe they could have enough time to make some more meaningful changes and add more new stuff. I mean, customization after you've played these games for a while, I mean, some of the best stuff is just customizing your rider to look different after you've played a bunch, and it's unfortunate. So you have a bunch of different numbers and styles, and same for the name, and you can make it a different size or put it wherever and change the color and whatnot. But as you're going to see here, I mean, it's the exact same font for name and number as we've had for basically every Supercross game. It's disappointing. And maybe it's because that font is free. Maybe they didn't want to pay to have a good font in the game. It probably costs money to get a good font if they don't make their own, And then here I wanted to show you that you can make your rider look the way you want, but it really doesn't matter. The only time you're really going to see this is in the small cutscene after a race if you get on the podium or whatever. So it really doesn't matter that much, but I think some of the faces might be different, and then you can accessorize your rider if you want. And then here we get into the meat and potatoes of the rider customization. This is where I was talking about being a bit disappointed. So I go through some of the helmets, not all of them obviously, and some of the jersey and pants and whatnot, the boots, but as far as I could tell, this is all exactly the same as what we've had in at least the last 2 or 3 Supercross games. They haven't added much. I mean, they probably added a different set of gear here, maybe a helmet here or a pair of boots here, but I mean, for the most part, this is all exactly the same. I mean, the system, I'll say it again, the system, for the rider, the customization is really good, and they have a bunch of stuff. If you have not played a Supercross game, this will be pretty cool, being able to choose from a bunch of different stuff for the rider and the bike. But most of us, I'm assuming, probably have played a Supercross game in the last 2-3 years, and it's just the same stuff. I mean, I like that we have a lot to choose from, but I wish we could see some more new stuff. I mean, a few people have complained and criticized me for saying I wish they could get rid of some of the old stuff and add more new. And they're like, well, why not? You can have all the old stuff. You don't need to get rid of it. Well, fine. You don't have to get rid of it, but I wish I could see some of the new gear that the companies are coming out with and that have been out with. I mean, some of this gear has been in... Some of this Fox gear was in the game in Supercross 4. So it's like 3 years old at this point. And I mean, it just, like I said, after you've played the game for quite a while, you want to customize your rider to look different and not feel like you're playing the exact same game every year. I mean, I'm happy with the gameplay, the core gameplay of this year's game. I'm enjoying it. It has some good changes to it, minimal, but good changes. The tracks were great. I already mentioned all this, but as good as that can be, sometimes it feels like you're playing the exact same game because of the gear that you're wearing. You get tired of looking at the same gear set every year. I mean, on PC, we're lucky enough to sometimes have players that mod the game, and I can go and download a mod and have different gear in the game, more new updated gear in the game. But for most of the players that probably play on console, you can't do that. You're stuck with what you got here. So pretty unfortunate. I mean, they finally did the Tech 10 Alpine Star boots. I mean, they had them last year, but I believe the year before we didn't have them for whatever reason. So they did get that in. That's good. And then here I wanted to show you do have official teams you can ride for. You can choose a preset set of gear and the graphics kits for the bike, and then you have your name and number basically. And I believe you can change out your helmet, goggles, and the boots if you choose this route. But yeah, I don't know, just good system for customization, but just not updating the gear and the graphics and stuff like that for how it works. And then I wanted to show you have a sticker editor and a helmet editor. We had this in Supercross 5. It's been in ride games. It's pretty basic, but it's kind of cool. I mean, I didn't do much here. I was just I knew how it works. I just wanted to show you what you can do. I mean, it's minimal, and the helmet isn't cool because of what I did, but yeah, I mean, I'm sure some of the player base can make out some really cool stuff here, and you might want to download it. You can upload it, and then people can download your design and whatever and use it in the game. So it's a cool idea, cool system. No reason to not be happy with it, but yeah, I mean, it could have some better stuff to choose from maybe and whatever, but yeah, I don't know. Customization is one of the biggest disappointments in the game. Usually it is lately anymore, but let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. It just, there's some good, but They need to really update it. But you guys, girls, are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for the support on the channel lately. It really does mean a lot. And until the next video, take it easy.